450SLC, and when I do a cold start it backfires through the air intake here, and what it is, well, what I'm putting it down to is the warm-up regulator or valve, this little creature here. Once the car is warmed up, well, within 2 minutes it runs normal, and so it's on the cold start side of the valve, which I'll describe to you now. This is the warm-up regulator cross section, and this is our input and outputs. And what we have is a disc up here which reduces the flow of the fuel. On this side we have a pin coming down and a coil on a piece of copper, and as it heats up it comes back up, and the spring down here closes off the valve as it warms up, increasing the pressure. On this side of the valve is for the cold start. Now my one has a nut and bolt at the top, but a lot of these just have a pin, and to reduce the pressure you put it down, which is increasing the cold start, making it richer. Up is leaner, and some of these you've got to get a hammer and a punch to knock this down. In my case I've got to well, I've wound the bolt fully down and it's not making much difference at all, and but like I say, on the warm-up it runs okay. This should be on the cold start about 30 psi and about 44 psi once it's warmed up. Like I say, the higher the pressure, the lower the flow of fuel. And so here we go. What I'm going to look at now is a little filter, which would be on the intake side here. I'll just show you on the actual valve. The input comes out from the head of your fuel distributor through the pressure damper down to here on the warm-up regulator. So I'm going to undo this nut here and get a little tool and try and dig out the little filters in there, because I think they might be blocked, causing an increase in pressure. Let's see. Well, I can see a little filter down in that hole there, but my God, we've got to figure out a way of getting it out. I was trying a very fine pointed needle, but it doesn't seem to be working, so I'll try something else. Well, here's the story with these little filters. They are extremely small, and there's 3 of them. One of them flipped into the engine, never to be seen again. The first one got destroyed trying to get it out, and there's one left in the bottom of it there, but I can't get it out, but it has a hole down one side of it. So what I'm going to do is just give these, what's left of them, a little clean. Hopefully the fuel is not restricted or anything, and it all works again. Let's see. I don't know if we could probably even do away with these things and just adjust the regulator accordingly. We'll see. All I'm doing is soaking them in a bit of mineral turpentine and getting an old toothbrush and just giving them a little bit of a scrub. I'm just going to let them soak for a while, and then we'll put them back in and see what happens. Well, I've put the little valve back together again, minus one damaged little filter and one lost little filter, and not much rubbish came out of the little filters anyway. So I'm just going to run the engine now, see if everything's still much the muchness. The car's not happy, it's surging up and down. I'm going to let off this little nut here a bit, see if that helps. No, the car's not happy at all. So I'll go to the wreckers, get another warm-up regulator, and I'll pull this one to bits, so I've got to back up. Well, I did a little trip down to MB Classic Star in Greenacre. What these guys don't know about these old cars isn't worth knowing. And I picked up a second-hand warm-up regulator, and notice, no bolt, it's a pin. And my one, somebody's put a bolt in there, and talking to the guy, he reckons they would have done that because the pin probably came too loose. In other words, my one's been touched up. I was actually thinking it might have been a later model or something like that. On these warm-up regulators, you can see down here it's got the heat sensor, and there's a spring in there which comes up and closes off a little valve at the top, or reduces it and rises the pressure. And like I said, to lower the pressure for a cold start, you tap that pin down a little bit. What I'm going to do is put this on the car. Once I put it on the car, I'll probably have to readjust the idle mixture. Anyway, I'll just show you what I'm going to do to take the one that's sitting there off, and it's quite easy. I'll take off the vacuum hoses, one here, one down at the back there. I'll unplug that. I'll disconnect the electrical connector, and I'll undo these two fuel lines in and out, and then all I've got to do is undo an Allen head screw on this side and an Allen head screw on the other side. I think, if I remember, it might be about 5mm. So I'm just going to do that and put the new one on. Okay, I'll put my new second-hand valve on, which the exercise took about, I'd say 2 minutes, but let's allow 4 or 5. And now I'm going to run the engine to see how it's going. Looks like we've got a little bit of a petrol leak, but the engine is straight away kicked off. Not much hesitation there. So I'll just fix this little leak. So I'm letting the car warm up a little bit, which won't take long. Check the exhaust pipe for any excess smoke or anything like that, which is not happening. All good. Temperature's getting around 70. I think I'm going to leave the car like it is at present. Revs up all right. But I think it might be still a little bit hesitant on the cold start. If it is, I might have to adjust the warm-up valve down here just by tapping that in a little bit and putting pressure gauges on it to see what the pressures are. But I'm going to wait until the weather gets a bit cold, because it only takes a minute for the car to warm up. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you. I should mention one little test you can do to see if your idle mixture is running a little bit rich or lean. Just push the air plate in with the engine running a little bit. If the engine speeds up, it's rich, and if the engine just stalls straight away, it's lean. In my case, I pushed it in a little bit and the revs dropped a bit, coughed and spluttered a bit, but it kept going. I thought, well, that's close enough for me.